Hello, everyone. Welcome to Healing Wednesday, the Circle of 12. I'm Lee Carroll.
And I'm Monika Muranyi.
Well, happy March 1st. Wow, time goes by. For those of you who don't know, we're here every single Wednesday of the year. We have special guests and questions and answers, discussions, sometimes spooky stuff.
Yes, we love the spooky stuff.
Lots of spooky stuff, meditations, and of course, channeling by Kryon. YouTube subscribers, welcome. Thank you. This is our once a month free program. Also, welcome to all of you who are joining us for the first time or the second time or the third time.
A special welcome to the members of the Circle of 12 who receive one of these programs every week of the year. And I love the love affair that Lee and I are having with the Circle of 12 experiences, and we know that many of you are loving it too. The reason I can say that is because of the following. If you're a member, then this is program 121. Honestly, we wouldn't have been able to do these programs without our members. And if you're not a member, but you follow us on YouTube, this is your 30th free program. And the reason we can offer every single first of the month program for free is because of our great Healing Wednesday subscribing members. I think it's such a win-win situation where those who are investing in their own journey are automatically helping others too. And that's why I want to thank all of you who've ever been a member at any time because of the pay it forward impact you have made possible, including tonight's program. If you are interested in becoming a member, it's super easy with a subscription from cryonmasters.com. And what's so awesome is that those who sign up today for membership, they also get over 120 fully indexed programs as well as the current ones that they receive every week. And the library, it's building all the time. In addition, our members receive many extra specials, including videos of Lee explaining things, special music, and so much more.
And of course, the YouTube library. This library here that you're looking at is also growing, and it's growing. And this library here with its own playlist will never expire. And you can watch these programs as long as you wish. So, YouTube subscribers, please take a look at some of these great programs from the past if you haven't seen them yet, or the list yet, with some wonderful guests from all over the world. And then, of course, click the subscribe button to be informed of these free programs, no ads, and all these experiences right here.
And speaking of profound experiences, Lee and I want to tell you again about something coming up in June of this year. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine? We're already heading towards June, halfway through 2023. Well, actually, we mentioned this last month, and who knows, maybe some of you have seen it and excited and are going, but some of you are only hearing about this for the very first time. Did you know that the Kryon team stopped travelling to conferences over a year ago? We used to travel all over the US and go to many countries all around the world every year. But we stopped all of that in 2020. Lee and I are committed to streaming special programs to our ever-growing online community. Plus, we have finally created an online Kryon school. It's called the Chrysalis Academy, and it's something we've been asked to do for years, but we could never manage doing it because of our intensive travel schedule. However, many of you miss those live conference portions from our work. The good news is that we still do a few very select meetings each year, and they're very special. I'm going to tell you about one of them coming up very soon. Lee and I and the Kryon team, we're going back to Sedona, Arizona in June. But do you want to know the most magical part of doing live events? It's the connections, it's the friendships, it's the family reunions and synchronicities that happen to those who come. Can't you just picture yourself there being with us in one of the largest, most comfortable venues in Sedona, Arizona? It's the Sedona Performing Arts Center.
We haven't been to Sedona for a while, mainly due to the lockdowns and all that happened in 2020 and 2021. But now we're returning with kind of a different kind of a show, I believe. It's like no other we've done. Let me show you this beautiful auditorium yet again before we continue. And I do this, I've probably done this the last 4 times you've seen me here on YouTube. But we've had some of our largest and most popular conferences here. And as you look at this auditorium, many of you may not even know that we had something like that in Sedona. It's a wonderful place to be, especially for the presentations like we want to do here in Sedona. Well, it's what we're doing differently, not just the place, that I want to briefly tell you about. This will be a full 5-day conference with many great things, but the difference I want to show you specifically is this. I want to bring entirely new keynote presenters who have never been featured with us in Sedona before. Read between the lines. This is not a Kryon conference like it used to be before 2020. Now, please stay with us just for a moment while we tell you about who is coming in June for this event.
So if we're not bringing the keynote speakers that we've had in the past, where do you think we're going to get these wonderful new popular presenters from? Well, you probably already guessed it. From Healing Wednesday, of course. We've been blessed to have so many incredible humans be guests on our program for the last 2 years or so. And you probably realise we only get about 30 minutes with each guest. We've wanted so much more, and many of you have been asking, please let them speak more. So, who's going to come? Well, the first keynote speaker is going to be Matt Kahn. This is one of the most popular, loving people of our age. He has millions of followers online. He is the I love you guy. And in August of 2022, he was on the cover of Forbes magazine. How amazing. He's the living expression of the Creator's divine love. He truly is a perfect fit for a Kryon conference. And he'll be in Sedona with us as the keynote speaker for the first 2 days of the event. The theme for the conference? Well, that's the love connection, of course.
The other speaker, remember there are two, is Dr. Clint Rogers now. I've said this before. He's taken the world by storm. And truly, it's an amazing with this book called Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer, which now has been translated into nearly 30 languages and counting. Every single time we talk to him, there's another language. Recently knighted in Italy for his profound healing work, Clint is carrying on the legacy created by a wonderful man named Dr. Naram, who was a world-renowned master healer in India. Clint's book begins with a phrase, I've mentioned this before, listen to this, I love this phrase. I didn't come to teach you, I came to love you. Love will teach you. So these are the two keynote speakers for this all-new Kryon conference. But wait, there's more. Don't you love it when I say that? On the final day, day 5, we'll have a separate conference, which we'll call the Circle of 12 Live. It's going to feature Monika and I presenting the Circle of 12, plus teachings and insights that Kryon has given in these past months. Think of it as a time just like this, only we're all together in a way where we can reach out and actually touch each other in the coherence of love.
Well, of course, there's going to be others from the Kryon team presenting as well, plus lots and lots of channeling. So if you want to know more information about this great Kryon conference, it's going to be in June 1 through 5, and simply go to kryon.com/Sedona. So now we'd like to move to the questions and answers part of the show. And this next question, it comes from Robert. And Robert is in Alberta, Canada. Robert is saying, what does Kryon have to say about artificial intelligence? Elon Musk has raised concerns over this recently.
Robert, I want to be careful here and succinct in answering this question since it's often misunderstood. What AI really is or may become. All right, so let's start with an answer directly from Kryon. I always start here, and then I'll talk personally about it. On April 15th, 2018, there was a live Kryon channeling given in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. Now, I'll paraphrase what Kryon said. From Kryon. One of the questions presented earlier today was about the future of what you call artificial intelligence. Where is it going? Is there danger to human beings because of it? Full paradigm changes are not predictable. But what if I told you that your future may contain the ability to reprogram cellular structure to resist disease, and that AI was needed for that? What if, just what if, AI will help to heal some major diseases on this planet? Knowing this, would you throw it out? just because you had an old energy idea of what it would do to you. Now it's the end of Kryon's message. Okay, back to my message. I agree with Elon Musk as well as my good friend Greg Braden. We're all warning us to be careful how we let our future be shaped by AI or what we think is coming from AI. In other words, our ideas of what, our programming is. Neither one is saying to throw it away. The word is be cautious, be careful. And it's not what you think. It's not be careful or it's going to be like the movies and take over the earth and Terminators will appear looking like a California governor and chase you everywhere. That's not what we're supposed to be afraid of. Instead, this is a wise warning to be careful you don't let AI become us or become you. Here's what I mean. Don't let it become a substitute for human social interaction, or let it write our poetry, or compose our music. Don't expect it to become human, even though it may really sound like it is. The general public really isn't all that wise when it comes to seeing these things clearly. It often sees AI technology, it can only think of robots that look like humans and that carry on conversations. The real profound future of AI is not that any of that. It's what the public sees that's spectacular and makes its decisions based often on news and or YouTube. Bottom line, AI may supply profound new technology as healing helpers or give needed solutions to some environmental issues and save a lot of lives. And it'll do it within circuits that most of you will never ever see, not a robot who walks around and talks to you. Most of you are using AI right now in the devices that you're using to watch me, right? Did you know that? That's in your devices. So the warning is real. Don't let the spectacular and the gee whiz AI stuff you'll see take over your humanism. AI is not artificial consciousness. It's not. It's simply smart circuits that can do amazing things not seen before, making it appear very smart. These circuits are a result of very fast processes that can emulate your brain synapse to a degree and appear to be thinking. So the first things industry will do is to try to impress you with machines that walk and talk and think and drive and take out your trash. But don't expect it to replace relationships or be your new best friend. That's the warning. But many people will. They'll do it anyway. It's inevitable. They'll expect wisdom, a new guru, or perhaps a circuit that'll tell them all about God. Watch for it. Here it comes. A prediction from Lee Carroll. The right to marry a robot. Techno AI rights. Let's put this in perspective. It'll be like having a new best friend, a calculator. Just think, 1,000 new friends in your pocket. You think I'm kidding, don't you? Meanwhile, the real and most useful AI will not be in a human robotic form. That's for entertainment. That's for scaring you. AI may change the way we identify disease or predict weather or earthquakes. It may save many lives. I say that again. Kryon tells us that it may play a huge part in new technology for water desalination, for food production, for figuring out things we never could before. Interested? Some are asking, yes, but can it be used by the military to create smart weapons? Of course it can. So can designer chemicals and diseases and nuclear power, know-how, almost any of the other technology we have. It all can be. Any technology can be weaponized. It goes back to what we expect from what I call the shift, and what Kryon has told us about how human nature and how consciousness is changing on this planet. There's hope that we won't do the worst with it, but we'll do the best. So meanwhile, watch that it assists us and doesn't replace us.
I think that's a natural thing, Lee, that when something new comes along, we tend to fear it.
Well, I'll tell you about my parents, who were told that television, this is in the 50s, folks, television will rot your brain. We didn't get a TV for a long time. Of course, it didn't rot my brain at all. I mean, didn't affect me. And here I am. But I will tell you that
Completely unaffected.
I still have dreams. I have a longing to watch reruns of Leave It to Beaver. It's, that's...
Well, for me, my parents told me to stop playing video games.
Yeah.
So your generation, I guess, it was about TV.
Look what that's become.
Yeah.
That's an incredible industry.
It has, I tell you, there is no comparison between Frogger and Pac-Man compared to the video games today.
So I guess what we're all saying is just, it is, what Kryon says that you cannot predict new paradigm shifts.
No, and to not be afraid of what you don't know.
That's right.
Yeah, so I think what I'd like to do then is kind of do a meditation which is on the subject of change, because change can be so confronting for a lot of us. We're kind of wired to resist change. But what if we could reframe what we consider change to bring for us? And so with that, I invite you to close your eyes and allow your deepening breaths to go in through your nose and out through your mouth in a slow, rhythmic pace. And as you become more relaxed into that deep breathing, you start to recognize that you're in a safe place. And it's from this place that we can begin to make statements of intent. That inside of us is a spark of the divine, and this divine is connected to the field of potentials around us. It's connected to the intelligent design of the universe created by the Almighty, the Creator. And therefore, this intelligent design we're connected to is biased in love. And when we recognize we are connected to something greater than us, biased in love, then we allow the changes to come and recognize we have the ability to have all changes come before us be benevolent. And so we put this request: let the changes that come to me in my life be filled with benevolence. I expect good things. I expect the goodness to be shown by others around me. And with that request, there is nothing more to do. We simply relax in the arms of Spirit, that benevolence is around us. Good things are on the way. And now let us hear some of the good things to come from Kryon.
Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. And so the plea is this: expect good things. More than that, we have set a stage for you in the information we've been giving for more than a year. And that stage for you is that things are changing on this planet. It's called the shift. I will say yet again, one of the things we told you is that light will increase. That's a metaphor. Awareness, revelation, revealing things will increase. And that will bring about a division between light and dark that you have not seen before. That is a metaphor. But it's a metaphor that is being played out on the earth right now. And what I mean is this: have you seen anyone, any group, any organizations, any governments, have you seen it where there will be those who wish to pull you backwards to your grandfather's world? And the answer is yes. And it's not just in one place. It's in many places. It's a resistance to all that is good, that all that makes sense. It's a resistance to love. And we told you that this would occur. And we also told you that it would only occur if there was an abundance of light on the planet. That's the reason you have pushed the dark into revealing itself, into yelling and screaming and saying, we're not going away, we're doing this instead, we're going to make trouble for you. But dear ones, all of this in the end is why you're here. There's something new I want to tell you about. In addition to everything else that I have ever channeled, this month I'm going to do 4 channels about something new. And this new something is a direct result of an enhanced biology I told you about a few months ago. This enhanced biology, if you have not heard about it before, was the activation of a pair of chromosomes that you didn't think you had. When physics comes in pairs, chemistry comes in pairs, all things are balanced. Why do you have 23 chromosomes? The answer is you have 24. And the last pair, the 24th pair, were altered. And we told you about how, why, and you can believe this or not. But what has happened is those who don't believe it will have a situation where someday they're going to have to ask, well, what else was there that created this enhancement? It's a change of human nature. It's where your 24th pair of chromosomes, those multidimensional pair, are now starting to be activated, enhanced, and that's the missing part that would create a human being who starts to have compassion and kindness and caring and starts to wake up and strip away that onion that we talk about to find a bigger reality, a revealing of self. And in this, you start to think differently. The world starts to expect things that are a lot better than they ever have been. You move away from the old train track of a history that repeated itself with war and more war. And when war starts to happen yet again, you object. And the entire world starts to change. Things that didn't matter are now mattering. Did you notice? Integrity of so many things in society now start to matter. Did you notice? You're looking to your governments. You're looking to your authoritative areas and organizations in a much, much different way than you ever did before. And now you know you can do something about them. You're looking at the rights of basic humanity and asking for things that you should have asked for long ago, but you never did, and now you do because of this enhancement. Things are changing with humanism. We told you they would. But that has activated something else. And now it's time to talk about that in this month. We can have 4 channels on this subject, and I'll tell you what the subject is. We're going to call it the power of life. And the second part of that is light energy. These are 2 new things which many who are metaphysical will say they're not new, they've always been there. What is new is their influence on everything. How many of you believe your life force on this planet is important to the planet or to others? In the billions who are here, is it important to them, or are you simply a speck in the ocean? Are you one of many? Do you struggle against everything? Are you a victim of the planet? Or, because you are starting to light up, dear ones, as old souls, light up and be something on this planet you were not before because of enhanced biology, suddenly your life matters to the planet. Your life matters because pieces and parts of your soul are now here with you that perhaps were not before. You're much bigger than you were before. Your esoteric footprint on this planet is huge. And that wasn't the way it was 25 years ago or 30. Are you getting this? This is the power of life. And suddenly, where you walk and what you do, and the light, the power of the light you have that's new because of these changes is starting to make differences. Now, this isn't just for the old soul. This is for all of humanity. Perhaps I should repeat that. All of humanity is receiving this. It's time. And we told you how this was being accomplished. We have predicted the shift for 30 years. In 2012, when it started to arrive, we gave you its attributes. We told you of the things to expect, and now they're here. But we never told you that there would be an enhancement of the human being. This was always in your purview. This was always something you might do with the tools that we have given you. Is it possible that there is a connection with the divine on this planet that you haven't really recognized before, that is your partner? Not just the earth, but the divine parts of your soul, the bigger picture, a larger plan, the shift, where this planet will lift itself up slowly in a way that no one ever expected, so that in 50 years or 100 years, psychologists will have to rewrite what is human nature, because they'll look back and say, well, it used to be this, and now it's this. What does a human do in certain circumstances? And they're going to say, unbelievably, sociologists will say, unbelievably, now there is a twist, a turn, that they're going to go right for kindness. Oh, you think that's ever going to happen? I'm telling you, it is starting to happen right now. And the emphasis on this, one of the 4 messages I'm going to give you this month, is the effect of this on you. I want you to stand a little taller and know that you're worth something on this planet, something you didn't expect, a piece and a part of your soul, that beautiful, compassionate part that has always simply stood on the other side of the veil as your higher self starts to implement its own energy within you, walking around eyeball to eyeball with others. That's the difference. That's the power of life. You mean something. Esoteric imprint, if you wish. The space that you take on this planet, that now the earth knows you and others knows you and know you, and where you walk makes a difference. And there will be those who say, well, what do I have to do about this? This is an actionable item. You can do whatever you want to, but we're inviting you to believe it. And once you start understanding this, you'll understand why you can then plan your future, control the things in front of that train track that we say is where your train is headed, that you call the track of the future. That place that is simply unknown and frightening to so many. And we say, what if you could put your energy on that track in advance of you, so wherever you go, you meet yourself, that new self, a kind self. And that would make a difference between what you expect now and what you might expect later. Imagine going into a future where you're already there preparing a place for yourself. Think about that for a moment. That is a multidimensional concept of no time. And that is part of the new human being. That's what we're here to tell you. This entire month of channels will be about this. Congratulations, dear human being. Light is winning. And you will see this. You will see this. I represent all that is in love and what you are doing and have done and where you're going. I'm crying in love with humanity. And so it is.
And allow the beautiful energies of that Kryon message to float through the ethers and bring them back with you as you bring your awareness back into your body. And if you've had your eyes closed, I invite you to open your eyes as we move and transition into the next part of the program, which Lee and I are super excited for. We've had these two guests on our program before individually, but together they're here as a couple, the beautiful couple of Jillian and Eric. And I want to make sure they're there on the Zoom feed with us. Jillian and Eric, are you there?
We are.
We're here.
Woohoo! Well, they are no stranger to healing, no stranger to Lee and I. We've travelled the world together and we want to tell you about them together as a couple.
Well, I'm no stranger to our guest at all, and both Monika and I presented with them overseas. But in addition, I was there at the beginning of Dr. Eric Pearl's work, way before either Jillian or Monika appeared on the scene. I know that sounds like a long time ago. It all started with a phone call I got from Dr. Pearl on my unlisted number. Go figure. Where he told me he had a puzzle. He was having patients starting to channel in his office, so he called me a channeler to get my perspective. Wind forward to today, and we have a renowned international healer, very well known and respected all over the planet. He's the original creator, Dr. Pearl, of the Reconnection body of work. He's also an internationally acclaimed best-selling author of The Reconnection, Heal Others, Heal Yourself, published now in 40 languages, and he still remains a good friend of mine.
And Jillian has also become very good friends with both of us. Jillian is the head of insight and development for the Reconnection, and she's a significant partner in this profound body of work, and of course in Eric's life as well. Together, they're producing powerful workshops, seminars, and training programs. It's taken them to over 100 countries as the reconnective healing experience. It's revolutionizing the lives of millions of people around the globe. And this is not the first time they've been on the program before. I've said that earlier, but it's the first time we're having them present together with us. We wanted them both here today because something wonderful has happened. They've got a new book that they've written together. It's called The Direct Path to Healing. Don't you love that title? And The Direct Path to Healing presents a trinity of energy, light, and information. So whether you're searching for physical healing, mental healing, emotional or spiritual healing for yourself or someone you know, this is the book you're going to want.
It's the kind of book that will allow your most intimate and comprehensive healing experiences to unfold. It's an unusual book. I'll tell you right now, supported with straightforward science. Are you ready? Simple quantum physics. I got to know more about that. It is enjoyable, easy to follow exercises at the end of each chapter. It can become the ultimate catalyst for subtle and epic changes in your life and the lives of others, all without time-consuming practices or complex techniques. You'll be astounded by, again, its sheer simplicity. Eric and Jillian, welcome back to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
We're so thrilled to see you both.
You know, yeah, but thank you.
I was just going to say, in the love of friendship, it's so nice to share a program with our dear friends. So thank you for having us.
We know that there's so many things we would love to ask about this, but I'm going to turn you loose and just, first of all, you can tell us about the book, but why is it unusual? How can it have simple quantum physics and all the things that we've talked about?
Well, my brain will not do complex quantum physics. It will to a point, usually to the point of realizing that there's no reason for the complexity. Really, the biggest challenge, the most complex challenge about the reconnective healing experience is its simplicity. Our personalities, our egos' willingness to not need to make everything complicated into an ordeal, but to really just recognize what is as what is.
So I would add by saying that the simplicity of the quantum physics, Lee, I know that gives you such a chuckle, is really in the way that we approached the writing of these 7 chapters. It's a small book filled with a very new conversation for us, which, as you can tell by the title, The Direct Path to Healing, a Trinity of Energy, Light, and Information, we are really looking at what has always been behind or in the background, irreducibly around the reconnective healing experience, which is healing itself. And to be in that conversation, we sort of had to return to the most core fundamental part of what we are, I think, all coming to understand, both in the spiritual and the scientific community. And that is, there is only consciousness, and consciousness expressing itself through the intimate and magnificent vehicle, we'll say, of our human experience. Something I know both of you speak a lot about. So in many ways, that is the core conversation that we're having in these 7 chapters.
The beauty of your work, Eric, is that you have a gift that Lee and I have both witnessed and seen. Yeah. And yet, this gift that you have, that we've seen, all of us have the innate ability to do it. And I think that is what the reconnective healing work is there's a community now of healers that understand we have that ability. And so I'm excited that this book has within it easy, practical things to do for yourself. Take us through some of those things.
You know, what you're saying is really important, because today people are ready. People are ready to let go of thinking that the healing needs to be ignited in them by touching some special person, but to recognize when we allow ourselves to see, and seeing doesn't mean necessarily seeing the external outside of us. We don't even have to see someone else facilitate a healing. But when we can just see within us this innate ability, then we realize there never was a somebody else to begin with. That what one person can facilitate, we can all facilitate. And as we move through the direct path to healing, as we move through that book, to the degree we're willing to allow ourselves to see, you will recognize that you are able to facilitate any level of healing that Jillian and I can, or any human being anywhere on the planet, past, present, or future, because there really is no past, present, or future. Anyway, it is all one huge, infinite, eternal here and now. There are exercises, however, some of the things that we do at the ends of each chapter. So as we move through each chapter, as you read through each chapter, we speak about very simple, once you read them, concepts of understanding healing. And through the end, we will take you places in the exercises to allow you to implement them. There's even places to fill in question and answer at the end of each book to say, hey, what am I getting from this? Where was I when I started? Where am I now? So you can really witness and follow your own transitioning, let's call it, along the way. It's really not, as we think of transitioning or transformation, ultimately what it is it's a revealing of yourself to yourself. We start to discover that this book and no book is going to allow you to suddenly become enlightened. Nothing can, because we are already enlightenment. It's just like the sky is always blue, even when we think that it's gray, because all we see are the gray clouds. But when the gray clouds pass, we notice, oh, there's that blue sky that's always been there. And as we allow ourselves to reveal ourselves to ourselves, we suddenly discover that the enlightenment we've been looking for we've been all along. And as soon as we stop asking when we'll become enlightened, is when we'll recognize that we are that. And even this sort of discussion here, even this little bit of sharing, is the doorway, the portal to that allows for the healing. And therefore, it actually is the healing itself.
I think it's an integral part of the conversation in this book is really, again, as Eric just pointed out, it's a courageousness or courage, a heart expression of our self-inquiry. So when we say it is, in a way, the way we are revealing ourselves to ourselves, this is where it all begins. And this idea of the healer is also one in which we allow that idea to become something more than an idea or a purpose or a responsibility or a path. It becomes the truth of our experience, our very nature, our very being. And the conversation in the reconnective healing experience is really to be able to look at that through the truth of our experience. We feel strongly that the energy-lighted information, another way of saying God, love, infinite intelligence, all that is, it is the authentic, ever-present truth of our being. And in this particular approach to healing, we sort of start at the conclusion and never leave there. And so it's quite different in the sense that we aren't really revealing a new way to express, find, seek, or even facilitate healing. It is more a revealing of you are the healing you've been looking for.
So even when we share reconnective healing, when Jillian and I do distance reconnective healing sessions, or the other practitioners do as well, it's not an attempt to stimulate the intellect. When it's not through how to do it or what to do. Really, everything falls away during the reconnective healing experience, and you become aware of the infinite essence that we are. We feel as if we're going through finite experiences, and we are. We're having a finite life experience of the infinite being that we are. But the reconnective healing experience actually stimulates the heart, the soul, the spirit, and herein appears our healing, meaning it shows itself as always having been present. And in reading The Direct Path to Healing, it starts to unveil itself to you, which is ultimately the same as saying is you further unveil yourself to yourself.
Which can bring up a lot of fear, lack, limitation, worthiness, initially, as that unobscuring of what we would call the person, myself, the unobscuring of that, and that recognition that we are God. We are love itself. We are the infinite intelligence that is all that is. Those issues and those particular conditioning beliefs can become very agitating. And so part of what the
to
book,
some people sometimes.
Yes, it can. It can. I think we each have a little bit of the moth flying into the flame activity just simply by being human. So in the 7 chapters, we really look at some of those experiences, and we have a lot of, I call them guided conversations, because they are meditations, but they are really more guided conversations that we have embedded throughout these chapters, so that, again, the most important piece that we'd like anyone reading this book to come away with is, what is the truth of your experience?
And embedded is a very important word, because with these embedded sharings and communications, it allows you as the reader to start to discover things that you go, well, I wasn't getting that intellectually. I wasn't reading it that way, but look what's appeared for me in my life. And you know what's appeared is you. And that's just really cool.
And there's a little provoking.
Yeah.
Some of the chapters bring to in language. We have an exploration of something called the gift of mindlessness. That in and of itself might ring a little controversial for some. Or yes, there are some controversial ways that we might be exploring these, and it forces us maybe just a bit to come a little closer to that illusion of separation between the body, mind, and our infinite true nature.
So short questions don't always have short answers, and we'll pause for your next one.
It sounds like such a marriage with the Kryon work.
It really does.
Kryon talks about peeling the layers of the onion is how Kryon describes it. So I love that we have a how-to book that kind of guides you through the peeling the layers of the onion process. So I would imagine that the book is set for both someone who has never done any kind of reconnective work to ones who have done it for years, or even those who are healers. I would also imagine that reading the book for the first time, you undergo changes, and then probably when you come back, because we are peeling layers of the onion, there's some new insights that get discovered on rereading it. Have you found that to be the case?
Absolutely, it is the case. And what's really interesting is whether you've ever or never considered yourself to be a healer, whether it's reconnective healing or any healing at all, you start to discover quite clearly that is what we've always been. We start to discover that a lot of the approaches we've taken, we can sort of release that the ultimate design of technique has been to show us, to shine a light so we can see. But the ultimate design of technique itself is to self-dissolve. And when we allow it to self-dissolve, the more we reveal ourselves. If we let go of everything and let go of that one special thing we should do, and that one special thing we should use, and that one special way we should be, if we give away even more than we think that we should, then all we've ultimately done is allowed ourself to be present as the infinite being that we are. And that is really what facilitates the healing. It's never the doingness or the steps or the objects. It's our presence. And so the doingness and the steps and the objects and such point us in a direction. But as long as we're in the doing, we're not in the being. We haven't let ourselves stand in the beingness presence that we are. So that becomes the key. It leads us to, but then we have to let go to allow ourselves, again, I keep saying, to see and recognize who we've always been. We can't become it because we are it, but we can allow ourselves to be it because we are it.
And that's a little bit of part of the quantum physics that we get to explore in the book. And thank goodness, with sort of the emergence of people like Donald Hoffman, who we are a great fan of, and also Tom Campbell, who, these are wonderful physicists illuminating a consciousness-only model that I think assists us a little bit in beginning to desire to explore that we are more than we think we are, and myself is not really a completely accurate description of how we understand ourselves. And furthermore, this idea of light, I find it so curious. Someone said to me, Jillian, we don't really see light. Light is by which we see other things. And she went on to say, light is a means of illumination. So the very physics of light, it makes other things visible. And she said, and really what I love so much about the book and really my curiosity to explore the energy, light, and information is that she said, I feel this freedom to bring the awareness, just the pure awareness of the light that I am and the beauty into my life, but also to reveal the unsavory things, the things that are challenging and difficult, that may not be in alignment with my happiness or my truth. And so there seems to be even a deeper recognition of how we understand ourselves as light. And that was exciting that the book provoked that. I found that exciting.
Yeah, very much so.
I think it's such alignment with all the things emerging on the planet now. We are seeing so many have light language and all these other components that are also part of the healing. So
let me also discuss the fact that, and Kryon is just starting to reveal this now. He says there's a new energy on the planet that has to do with that which is the influence of light and with what he calls life energy. And in other words, we are better equipped right now to understand these kinds of things that you are presenting than ever before. Uncovering that which we were programmed with, starting to see that which are our biases, which you never even saw as biases, reasoning, looking at ourselves and think, were we actually programmed to fail? And there's a lot of that in this culture. And what I like about all of this, and I know this is your program and I'm talking too much, but is the fact that what you are presenting here is right on schedule. I believe that this is maybe difficult to understand or seeming that to some people because how am I going to do this? You start reading the book, you start understanding you do have the equipment for this now, especially those who would be interested enough to listen to this program.
We don't know how to begin.
No, we
We've
don't.
already started.
Yeah.
When we don't know how to begin, we've already begun, and that's key for us to understand. We're pushing to get the book out and pushing, and it seemed like such a push to finish it and get it ready, and only in retrospect can we see that now is the time. It wasn't then, but the world really is ready now. We're ready to stand in the essence of who we are more embracingly.
And I think also to lead to what you said, to come to appreciate the limitations that potentially are part of just a human experience. To say there is more to this appearance of body-mind than just what we might call the day-to-day trials and tribulations, joys. There's more. There is more that's resting in the background that we have become quite so lost in the preoccupation of something maybe smaller than we've kind of been told. Maybe that's the best way to say it.
So the healings show up in our lives just as we're reading the book, not even thinking about it, and in the lives of those that we love, because we recognize in this book very clearly that, and I don't mean to sound like, an overused, greeting card or a sweatshirt, but that we really are all one. So just in the way that the ocean has an infinite number of waves, but you can't pick up a wave and put it in your pocket because they're all of one ocean. We see 8 billion people walking around the planet and realize that, well, there are 8 billion spirits or souls, but there's only one beingness. So one of the first things that we begin to learn and discover is that you can't send a healing, because if I were to send a healing, that would mean I'm here and you're there. And that just reinforces the illusion of time, distance, space. But when I allow myself to receive, if we are all one, then we are a receivership. I mean, for everyone watching this interview right now, I mean, if you just want to just have a fun little 30-second experience, stand up wherever you are for 1 second. Just stand. Got it? Good. Now take one step toward yourself. Now, while you're sitting around looking for what direction to step in, you might as well give it up now and sit back down, because any direction you step in is away. You are already you. So I can't send anything to myself unless I go to the post office, which means I can't send you a healing. Mm-hmm. All I can do is receive, and my receiving is your receiving, and the people that you love, it's their receiving, and the people that you like, it's their receiving, and the people you don't like at all, they're receiving too, because we are all that one essence. And as we move through the direct path to healing, this becomes clear not on just or even a cerebral level, but it becomes a recognition that once seen is with us forever.
Yeah,
and each experience reveals a glimpse of the infinite being that we are. And each glimpse, even though the glimpse is finite, it's a finite glimpse of our infinite being. Each glimpse brings about a series of ongoing glimpses, and we suddenly see that we are existing and experiencing and moving through life entirely differently. And again, we don't know how or why. Ultimately, doesn't matter.
What results have you seen so far with this new book?
It's so beautiful that that word comes up, and you know so much about the reconnective healing experience is that we release that understanding of a result-oriented healing approach, and in some ways, what we are seeing, if we look at a different way of how we might express results, we might use the idea of being opened in a way.
Right.
And that being opened allows not only the least resistant, we'll say, changes for the body mind to begin to kind of reformulate its experience. That's an integral part of the instantaneous healings that for decades people have experienced, witnessed, been gifted in the reconnective healing approach. But something much more reliable, that might be the better way to say it, much more reliable begins to happen around the relationship I have to healing. There is a awareness that I am whole, that I am truth and love and beauty, and that the relationship to any circumstances in my life, may they be physical, emotional, mental, no longer have the capacity to truly take me out of or away from the truth of my experience, from my being. And again, that's a very interesting place where if we can't fully ever know the infinite, but this word Eric's used several times is this idea of glimpsing. This glimpsing that happens doesn't require the cognitive mind to understand it. It's actually really the one thing we understand more than anything we understand.
This is why when we allow ourselves to be opened, although we're not focusing on specific results, yet simultaneously results appear, things we hadn't even thought of.
It's amazing. And I want to tell people, sorry to interrupt, but I want to tell people where they can go to get this information. So in the chat, you have a link to get your copy of The Direct Path to Healing. And you can also go to thereconnection.com. I'm also aware that the work that Jillian and Eric are doing, there are workshops, live workshops all over the globe, in person happening. There's also online courses happening as well. But certainly the book is a wonderful place to begin that journey. I love that you're reducing the filters that we have that stop us seeing the magnificence of who we are, which is what Kryon talks about. So we have just under a minute before we have to go to break. Is there any kind of final words that you want to share with the beautiful community watching us?
We could say, you are the healing that you are looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think that's a beautiful way to express the truth. And I might also say that it is in the knowingness of that peace and love where ultimately we are healed. we are healed there, regardless of whether there is a change in our circumstance or a complete change in our circumstance. We're no longer dependent upon that to really find happiness.
Beautiful. You are the healing you've been looking for. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Jillian.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having
you.
us. We love you guys.
So wonderful.
Great,
Well,
great,
you
great.
are the healing you've been looking for. Lee, I think we need to take a 10-minute break.
Yes, we do.
And so we'll see you back here for the Circle of 12 after that. Well, welcome back, everyone. Wasn't Eric and Jillian great?
They were. Thank you, my friends, for being on this program yet again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I loved Eric's line, "You are the healing you've been waiting for." And I want to just share something. Guess what? I have the book.
The book.
Right here, and I would love to read the first line in the introduction because it's so inspiring, following Eric's statement about "you're the healing you've been waiting for." Listen to this, Lee. "Nothing in this book or any book is the answer. You are the answer." Don't you just love a book that is actually beginning with that statement?
It's pretty courageous, actually.
It's very courageous.
To say that.
And I'm so intrigued. So I can't wait to explore more.
And take a look at the book. It's not a 600-page book. It's not ponderous to read. It's simple, just like they said. It's easy. It's got exercises.
Perfect for today because
really is.
we just don't have time, do
No,
we?
no.
So this is going to be great.
Yep. Thank you. Well, it's
Thank
time.
you, Jillian and Eric.
Yep, thank you very much. It is time again to do what we call Miracle Moments. That's one of the favorite sections of this program because we love to share people's healing and success. And we love to involve our wonderful group of viewers in helping others to heal. Now, it's about sending and receiving energy, something that old souls, they do very well. I'd like to ask Monika to share a miracle moment that has come to us right through our membership of the Circle of 12.
So this miracle moment, it has been shared in the membership portal and it comes from Purusha. Purusha says, "The Circle of 12 has intensified my spiritual journey. I experience more peace in my life. My intuition is a lot more developed and comes through a lot stronger. My intuition guides me and encourages me to speak my truth even when it's tough. And those moments are where my greatest learnings take place. Relationships in my life are a lot more meaningful. I feel more love at a deeper level and have more compassion for myself and others. I often find myself working through obstacles with ease and clarity once I get out of my head. The Circle of 12 is life-changing and has been transformative for me." Thank you so much, Purusha, for sharing your experiences. And as I said before, Lee and I, we are having this love affair with the Circle of 12, as well as offering it. We participate in it as well. And I feel inspired that coming together in this moment where we can be the miracle we've been waiting for, to then use that and help those who have been requesting a miracle. So in our membership portal, there are many who have submitted a request for help. It could be for themselves or it could be for someone that they love. And people are in trouble. Some people need help physically, some spiritually, some mentally, some financially, all sorts of reasons. And so what I'd like to do in this moment here is to just have fun and use my beautiful sphere to anchor in, have it as a focus where we're going to anchor in the energies of those who have requested help from us. So let's just feel, sense, imagine that those who are requesting help from us, their energies are imbued into this beautiful object, and that we place our attention and awareness and focus onto this object. All those past, present and future who are requesting help from us, their energies are being imbued. And then let us extend that invitation to include everyone on the planet who is experiencing trouble at some level and they seek help. And if that is you, you are included as well. And so now that we have an anchor to focus our intention towards, let us say the following: I am you, and you are me. Together, let us remind each other that we are the healing we have been waiting for. I am you, and you are me. Together, let us remind each other that we are the miracle we have been waiting for. And finally, I am you and you are me. Together, let us remind each other that we are part of the Creator and that our soul is eternal. It has no beginning and no end. We exist forever. We are magnificent. We are sacred. We are divine. We are what we have been waiting for. And with that, we now invite beautiful, loving messages of Kryon to join us.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon. Come a little closer. It is so difficult for many to think that they have been waiting for themselves. But dear ones, this particular statement agrees with the channel that I gave earlier in this very program. What if you have been waiting for an enhancement all of this time that would allow you to be different? You realize what I'm saying is that there is a difference at hand. For those of you who have never been part of the Circle of 12, let me give you the premise one more time. This beautiful soul of yours has been spoken of for eons as a part of the spirituality of the human consciousness. It seems to ride separately than the human body would in the scheme of chemistry or physics or reality. It's seen as a multidimensional spiritual part on the other side of the veil. It is not something that has been seen as part of what you carry while you're on earth, for the exception of one thing. Something that has been called for years the higher self. And even that has not been seen as part of the soul completely, but as a higher spiritual part of the human being's consciousness while you're here on earth. Now, suddenly, that's different. And I say suddenly because over a period of 30 years or so, I've been talking about this very thing and the possibility of it happening. Suddenly to us is anything that is under several hundred years for development, for you, for humanity, for these things happen slow. This one didn't. This came with the precession of the equinoxes on schedule, as foretold by the ancients. This was the 2012 experience. This is something that is happening quicker than you thought. The earth has changed, hasn't it? Did you ever feel that you were here on purpose? Did you ever feel that you were here on purpose, but you wish you weren't? All of these are those attributes to do with change, paradigm shift, things that really humanity doesn't like or want, except that this one is creating shifts that are different. What happens when an entire planet has a slight shift of consciousness and starts to look at themselves with a little more integrity, with a little more kindness? What happens when human nature starts to shift just a little? And when you thought you had figured out humans and suddenly they start reacting differently to certain situations or stimulations that always produce the same thing, and instead now it doesn't. Things that always produced anger, and suddenly there's a pause, and instead of anger, there's observation, there's logic, and perhaps even kind action. These are what we're talking about. We mentioned it in the channel, that this particular civilization is starting to look at itself differently, expecting better things than any other civilization and not accepting what is going on that is incorrect or inappropriate. The Circle of 12 is an exercise that says your soul is not something that is simply on the other side of the veil. Your soul is something that has been with you the whole time, but the tools of today allow you to visit it in a way you never could before, to use it in a way that you'd never done before. It's outside of what anyone told you could be who was a spiritual leader. They would not have told you that you can go into your soul and take a look at that which you need to look at. To go into your soul and have those who have lived before or those you've loved and lost and have conversations with them or have wisdom given for them to feel a peace and an understanding of the system of life and death instead of sitting on the planet and simply mourning the passing of them. No one told you that you go to that beautiful soul of yours and visit your own Akash and look at your own past lives and give a good look to who you were and why. All of that has been part of the Circle of 12. But there's one common denominator. Every time you go, there's love. That's all there is. Everything you experience is postured in love. That's all there is. And pretty soon you start to understand it is a very safe place for you to be and go to. And suddenly I tell you, there is a new energy on the planet for you, coming from you, called the power of life. And this then shakes hands with everything I have said about why the Circle of 12 is new and it works and you can do these things, because you have changed. Your esoteric footprint on the planet is growing. The planet knows it. Those around you know it. It's subtle, but it's there. You are far more powerful than you ever were before. This power of life comes also with something called the light, the energy of light. It's more than light language. It's a light that you carry, a metaphor of awakening, enlightenment, wisdom, and awareness of what is really going on. That combined with this power of life, this bigger imprint that you have, creates a wiser being. And how does that relate to everything? Let's cross the bridge and see the first aspect of it for this month. This bridge looms before you. It can be any size, but it has something on the other side of it, dear ones, this metaphor of you traveling from the known, which is here, to the unknown, which is there. Crossing to a multidimensional place that's beautiful, dripping with love, compassion, kindness, and all the things you wish the earth was. And every single human being has that kind of a soul. What they do on this side of the veil is up to them, but it starts with love. Let's visit it yet again. Come with me. Take my hand. Oh, we cross this bridge yet again, as we've done so many times, through that mist, and instantly we invite you to feel the safety of everything that is. There is nothing negative here that will ever be able to affect you. Nothing. If you fear this, this is your own humanism that fears it. It does not come from your soul. These 4 weeks of this particular Circle of 12 and the channelings thereof in the episodes will be all about this new power of life and the energy of light. And in this we are going to revisit going through a portal into a train station. Yet again we go to this train station, and it's enormous. It's all metaphoric, dear ones. It has to do with you and your life force on a train track that you are then sending into the future. That's the metaphor. The train is on a track, and as it leaves this station, that track goes into what is the unknown, the unexpected, what you call your three-dimensional future. Your soul is timeless. There is no future. It's all steps in the now. But we treat it for your consciousness as the future. And we say to you yet again, as we said in the channel before, what if you could send before you into your own future yourself? And you could put on that track what you want to meet: benevolence, correct things for you, health, extended life, abundance, few surprises. What if you could paint the track with that energy of you? What if you could take your own life force and put it on that track or more? Would you feel comfortable or more comfortable about what is to come for you? And the answer that most would say is that if you get this metaphor and this premise, if you truly understand it, you would say, wow, that would be something. I don't have to worry about all these unexpected things crashing around me. I feel so victimized by the planet when the phone rings and I don't know what's going to happen and all these. And I'll say all of that is a setup, a programming to fear that which you don't know. So in front of you, let's put what you do know, your own life force, on that track. So as you arrive in these places in the future, you find just what you put there: love, beauty, wisdom. This train of yours is a steam train. There are so many who love these older trains. This is a metaphor for things that work. Of course, it's very dynamic. It makes a lot of noise. That is simply part of the charm, you might say. This old train, it had such a history in your past and the past of so many countries. And here it is, ready to go on this track. The train represents you and your life, but this train is different from the other trains that we have had in this past circle of 12. This one has a passenger car. Every single circle of 12 will have passengers that get on this train of yours. Now, what that means in this metaphor, since the train is you, is that you, your life, and this passenger car is going to put someone, something, some consciousness into the passenger car and send it into your future. Who is going to be on that car? This implement and imbuing of energy into yourself on the train. I want you to invite the highest conscious masters that ever lived on this planet. Anyone who has ever lived on this planet, been alive, and been a master. And I want you to see them in whatever form you wish. These are ones you've not ever met. You've read about them. Perhaps you've studied them. Perhaps you've even worshiped their energy. And they're going to get on your car willingly. And I'll tell you why. Because every single one of them has taught that you are powerful. Every single one of them has invited you to awaken to yourself, to your own reality. Every single one has told you there is a divine spirit inside you that you could be part of if you wanted. Every one of them has taught this. Let them climb aboard, because you're going to send them and you into your own future right now. And in the process, you are going to rest and relax with what's coming, even tomorrow. This is not a far future. This is any day, day by day. turning into the years of the future, but this is tomorrow on. They board the train starts, the chugging starts, the steam comes out, and the train leaves the station. And you watch your own life energy and your own light illuminating that track and carrying these masters willingly who got on you. And they chug away into your future and they disappear. Now, what does this mean to you, really, right now? What does it mean? I would love you to congratulate yourself to say, my future is now different because I have done this. I have sent a piece of my soul in advance of my own three-dimensional life, and when I get to these places that I consider the future for myself, I will meet that which I prepared. I'm no longer afraid of the future. I'm no longer afraid of tomorrow. It doesn't matter, because I'll meet myself. And in that, I'll be comfortable, because I'll meet my own kindness and compassion along with the masters on my train who've made this possible. I, you might say, am filled with magnificence. And you'd be right. Pause and just stay and think about a future that is benevolent for you. Regardless of anything that's happening in your life, a future that is very benevolent for you. Stay and see the shift and the change that's coming. And so it is.